It's about to get Gabby AF.
We about to get Gabby AF, Gabby AF. We about to get Gabby AF, Gabby
Hello,
AF.
welcome back to Gabby AF. It's been a crazy month for me, especially. I wanted to kind of just take this time. No guest this week. I just kind of wanted to hit some hot topics of pro wrestling because there's a lot that's been going on. I've been traveling all over the place and doing podcasts, working with TNA, which has been so awesome. But I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys, reconnect with my friends, my pro wrestling family, which is all my Gabby AF listeners and all of you, because it's been great to be a fan. Most recently, especially this week, I'm going to kick it off immediately. Monday Night Raw Monday night was one of the best Raws we had seen in a while. I kind of absolutely loved the show. It was a breeze of the 2.5 hours that we watched. We saw a title change happen. We saw some teases for Evolution happening, which I thought was absolutely awesome. And we'll start with that because, you know, I always want to start when I see some positive stuff happening in the women's division. Was so excited to see Nikki Bella. I don't know how that woman hasn't aged a day in her life, but she has not aged a day in her life. She looked absolutely incredible. And I loved, you know, I didn't know what she was going to be doing. I know they said she has a special message, all that kind of fun stuff. She comes in the ring, super positive, super babyface. The pop was massive for her. I saw some reports saying that the pop for her was louder than it was for Jey, which I thought was pretty awesome for her to come back and get that kind of, you know, reception from the universe. And none other than Liv Morgan, of course, coming out, which for anybody that used to watch Total Divas, that was like a throwback for me because Liv was on Total Divas, obviously, and she wasn't like a massive, huge part on Total Divas like Nikki was. So it was kind of cool to see all these years later. And then, you know, coming straight for the gut, saying, I have all these things that you want, Nikki, and a man, because of course you're going to go after Nikki for that kind of stuff. Nikki is very much open book about her life. She has her podcast with her sister. She's a reality TV star, all this kind of stuff. So you kind of have to go for the jugular and that stuff, which I appreciate. I am a reality TV star. I kind of love the drama in that sense. And, you know, Nikki right back. Well, I don't know if your man is your man or Roxanne's because they're teasing that. Roxanne's all over it, giving him chicken nuggets and all this kind of stuff. So it was perfect. Setting up for Evolution. And I don't know if any of you know that I do the post show for Raw on Last Word with Coach on his channel Behind the Turnbuckle. And I hosted it this Monday night. And right after it happened, I said, listen, I would love to see Liv and Nikki, but I think this sets up a bigger picture of Nikki and the return of Brie as a tag team against the tag team champions that are Raquel and Liv. And there are reports now that have come out today. And like I said, these are reports, nothing confirmed, of course, that we might see Brie come in to tag with her sister at Evolution, which I would be so excited to see. That to me is even bigger than just seeing Nikki because look at who Brie is married to, who works for the other company. And, you know, we haven't seen Brie in a while. So I think it would be really cool to see them tag team against Raquel and Liv. Imagine they win and they put the titles on the line and something, and then we have to see the Bellas much more on our screen. I think that's only something that's positive for the women's division right now because I love to see what they're doing. I love this addition of Roxanne, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, like all these girls we're seeing up on the main roster. I think they're booking it incredibly well. The video package for Stephanie Vaquer was 100% awesome. Having Roxanne win that Queen of the Ring match was incredible because I can't wait to see more from her. This is how you build up these younger talents on a roster that's already stacked with Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, all these kinds of things happening. And they're just booking it great. And they're making these girls look like they're the real deal. They're not just coming up to the main roster to get squashed. You know what I mean? Like they are up here and they are, you know, going to challenge these veterans that we've seen all the time. I love the little storyline right now with Roxanne kind of throwing a wrench in the Judgment Day, because we are kind of seeing the tease of the split with Finn Balor and Dom. And, you know, Dom's going to be the guy who's a little bit confused. So I think it's all good things. I love the Judgment Day because from the start of the Judgment Day, it's kind of been some drama. I love that kind of emotional investment drama where you have the guys and the girls all fighting each other because look what it leads to, these great rivalries. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's incredible. The highlight, though, for me on Raw was obviously the R-Truth promo on top of the table. I thought that was ridiculously good. Like, I mean, I do believe that it wasn't a work and that the fans really did put in the work to bring R-Truth back, as much as that might not be the popular opinion, or it is the popular opinion. I don't know how that works backstage, but I really do think that they listen to the fans, because I've never seen someone so universally loved, not just with the fans, but also with the talent, with the tweets that came out when he was released and all this kind of stuff. I think they were kind of set to have to bring him back. And TNA posted like a video highlight of like, if you don't know Ron Killings from TNA, like take a look at this. And like, how cool would that be to see that kind of run from Ron now after everything, you know? And that's what he said. He cut off his hair. You know, it's a new chapter for Ron Killings. It's not R-Truth anymore. Are we going to see a more serious side, a more cutthroat, you know, vicious Ron Killings, which I would love to see? Listen, I wouldn't put it past anyone. Give me Ron Killings and a John Cena feud in this last run for Cena. You're going to tell me people wouldn't be invested in that? I would be wholeheartedly invested in that after everything that's been happening. And I just thought, what a cool way for him to come back on the table, cutting off his hair. I mean, the fans love him. What a really awesome, you know, new chapter for him. And I think that's what I'm most excited to see, like, moving forward. A lot of people do think that it might be Ron Killings in that mystery slot for the King of the Ring bracket. I don't know, because I'm a little torn about it, because I wish they would have done like a mystery slot for Asuka and had her return with as a surprise. I hate that they told us on Raw that Asuka will be returning, because I'm like, oh, why couldn't we give her the pop that, like, you know, and she's still going to get it because she's been gone for a while and we do miss her. But because they announced the return of Asuka, I feel like the mystery person has to be someone that's like been out for a while, or someone that's such a wild card that they wouldn't make the announcement of the return for. So would that be Ron Killings? Possibly. A lot of people are saying Karrion Kross. Listen, I would love to see it. I'm a huge, huge Karrion Kross fan. And I love everything he's doing. And I know they're teasing the fact that like his contract's coming up soon and, you know, is he happy, whatever. I would love to see Karrion Kross in the King of the Ring bracket, especially in that match, because that match that the mystery opponent's in is a bunch of like big dudes. I think it's like Sheamus, Bronson Reed, and Rusev. So you're not throwing a little guy in there. You know what I mean? It's got to be a big boy, because it's the only way to make it believable. Like, I would love to see it be Karrion Kross, Ron Killings for sure. I don't know where Omos has been, but he's also a name that I'm like, if you threw him in there, I would love to see these four meaty men just beat the crap out of each other. You know, I love when the big meaty men go at it. I think it's ridiculously entertaining. I just like to see them beat the crap out of each other, beat the shit out of each other. All these big meaty men coming at it. So I think it should be interesting. But also, I'm almost in the hopes with this whole TNA WWE collab, like, what if it's like a Joe Hendry? What if it's such a wild card outside the box? We saw it at WrestleMania. Why can't we see it at King of the Ring? Like, that's what I like about these King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, is like, I like it to be someone who wins that's a heel, because I like the winner, the king or the queen, to be entertaining. You know, I don't need it to be something so serious. That's what Money in the Bank is for. That's what those kinds of things are for. Let that be serious, where they're showing up trying to get this championship. King and Queen of the Ring needs to be somebody with a personality. Needs to be somebody that when they come in and they cut these promos or they're obnoxious, it's like way more fun that way. So I would love to see it. I'm excited. Like I said, I love what they're already doing. That's Sami Zayn qualifying wasn't who I wanted to win in that match. I much would have rather seen it be Dirty Dom, because I love everything he's doing on the Raw match for the qualifier. But I loved like the receipt they brought back of LA Knight showing up and ruining it for Braun, because all this stuff going on with Seth Rollins and all these things, like, it's just perfect storytelling. And it's so good. And this faction is so good with Seth and Braun and Bronson Reed and obviously Heyman. If I could see Heyman on every show, I would. I think he's one of the most entertaining ever. And we got the return of Bailey, which, you know how I feel about Bailey. I'm waiting for this Becky Bailey feud to happen, because I loved Lyra. I think this feud between her and Becky made Lyra the best she's ever looked and really elevated her in my eyes through the promo and matches. But it's time for Becky Bailey. I thought Bailey looked incredible coming back. Her purple hair, she was wearing all white, pissed off, didn't have to say anything, just came in, because now it's time. We know you attacked who you attacked. You know what I mean? Like, we know that's what happened. And these are two of the veterans in the game. Like, let them go at it for a while, because I think this feud can really shine. I think they could take it to SummerSlam, quite honestly, if they do it correctly. And why the hell not? Becky Lynch and Bailey as a match at SummerSlam, I would pay money to see that. You know what I'm saying? You know it's going to be a good match. Now make me a little bit more emotionally invested, even though I already am. Let's build this up storyline-wise until there. And I think they can do it. Like I said, I think the women's division right now is the most exciting it's been in the WWE in a while. And with Evolution coming up, I really hope they bring in more veterans. Like I said, Nikki Bella was a great addition. Give me Mickie James. Give me Lita. Give me Trish Stratus. There's room for them right now. Like, why the hell not? I could write a million matches right now that I'd want to see. Charlotte Flair, Mickie James, take my money to see that match. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you have some time at this point, bring them in. If every Raw you bring in a veteran or a SmackDown and you bring in a veteran, you're going to tell me they wouldn't get huge pops. You're going to tell me that wouldn't lead you to coming to Evolution being like, holy shit, this is something I need to watch, because I'm already invested, because I'm just excited for another Evolution. But let's make it worthwhile at this point. You know what I mean? You have the talent on the roster and you still have the veteran talent. Let's mix it up. That's my favorite thing to see, is mixing it up. So I think they have all the tools. So let's see if storyline wise they can build it. And we have a little bit of time. So I'm going to wait and see for that. I'm not going to get angry about it yet, because I want to wait and see who they bring in for all these kinds of things. Speaking of women, we saw the return of The Inspiration at Against All Odds. Super excited for this. This is a tag team that I've always loved to watch, not only in the ring, but entertainment-wise. Like, they are two of the most entertaining. They would make me pop so hard when they talked. And it's been a while since we've seen them make a return. I think some small things. I think they did return in the ring in Vegas at WrestleMania for a company. But like, now finally for them to show up in TNA is awesome. They got a huge reception. People are really excited to see it. And people need to keep an eye out on TNA right now, because, listen, I worked it. It was the best locker room I've ever been in. The environment's incredible. So much fun. But the talent there is so top notch. And that's why I'm loving the collab between TNA and WWE right now, because it's opening the eyes to people that maybe don't watch TNA or haven't downloaded the TNA Plus app to watch TNA every Thursday, which you should be doing, because they're only getting better and better every single week and more entertaining. But that Knockouts division is growing and it is strong, and you never know who's going to show up, and you never know who's going to show up on NXT. You never know what this crossover is going to be. We just saw Santana. Trick Williams is the TNA champion. Like, how does that happen in this day and age that we're like, yeah, like an NXT talent is the TNA champion with the belt? Like, that's wild to me, but it's opening so many opportunities. Santana just showed up at NXT and he's incredible. And if you don't watch TNA, you wouldn't even know to go over and watch him on NXT. Like, it's such a good time to be a fan right now, opening these doors for these kinds of things. Who's to know that we won't see The Inspiration on NXT now? You know what I'm saying? And like, mixing it up with these kinds of stars. Like, I love when the opportunities are endless. I love when the fantasy booking can hit the ceiling and never stop. Like, it just is evolutionary in that sense. No pun intended. But it was so good. I thought Against All Odds was a great show, and I can't wait to see what's next for them at Against All Odds, especially Inspiration with TNA. I'm loving Ash by Elegance, and, you know, she's the tag champion with Heather by Elegance. They're so entertaining. I think if they go at it, it's going to be something like must watch almost. Ash to me in TNA is like as entertaining as Chelsea Green is to WWE. Like, just overreactive, like super funny, but like not corny. And I think that's something that I appreciate when I watch it, because if there's no emotional investment for me, I don't watch anything anyway. Absolutely loved it. And I don't know if you watched me on TNA. I got to do some stuff. If you go download the TNA Plus app, I just did Around the Ring. I sat down with Ryan Nemeth. I have another one coming out with Tommy Dreamer. I was on the Under Siege show and a couple of the Impacts, and I can't say enough good things about TNA. I think one of the most positive, kind, supportive environments and locker rooms I've ever been in my life. And I am really, really looking forward to what's going to happen with them at Slammiversary in Strong Island, Long Island, New York. Okay. I think it's going to be must watch. And I think there's going to be a lot of moving parts, a lot of surprises possibly. And I think TNA is literally that company that if you don't keep an eye on them this year, I don't know what you're doing, because there's a lot going on. And this collab is bigger and better than I ever thought it would be. And it's making NXT must watch as well. And like, I'm so excited for what's going to happen in the next coming months. And, every company I think is getting better. I mean, we talked about AEW Dynamite, I thought was honestly pretty awesome. And I think the addition of Thekla, who I knew nothing about, to now watch, she is so unique. She is so different, nothing like I've ever seen. And to say that about somebody when there's so many times where you're like, oh, I've kind of seen this before, but it's a twist on it. She's very different. And I love that. So I'm excited to see what they do with her. Every match she's been in so far and like what I've seen from her is so intriguing, because I'm like, wow, that's kind of interesting. And she has a different look and her moves are different. The way she moves in the ring, I enjoy that, because I always am looking for something that's a little bit different and against the grain of, the same stuff we see all the time. So I'm excited for her. I think the Hurt Syndicate right now with MJF is just incredible. They've been good since they started in AEW. I think since the addition of Shelton and MJF, what Bobby's doing, MVP is one of the best on the mic, just so entertaining. I think it's incredible. Ospreay is quite literally one of the best I've ever seen in the ring in my life. And these feuds that are happening, I think Hangman's like crushing it right now. I love the return of like TJ, like the tag team of Anna Jay and Tay Mello, coming back. I think there's a lot that they can do right now with storytelling and the additions of these new girls on the roster. And I think they're only getting better every single week, which I love to see, especially when you have the talent you have on the roster, because, people like to complain and there's always trolls that want to say, oh, do this or do that. I think when you have the rosters that you have and you have the talent you have, once the booking is correct and the entertainment is correct, like you can't lose. And everyone's got preferences and everyone knows what they like and everyone knows what they want. But like, just to be a fan right now is one of the most exciting things I've seen. And I honestly went in, even Money in the Bank. I will be the first to say I went into Money in the Bank thinking I wasn't even going to like it. I was like, I'm not that hyped for it. I'm going to go in thinking like nothing that great's going to happen, like whatever. And then I walked out of Money in the Bank and I was like, damn, that was such an awesome show. I think the winners they picked were incredible. Naomi posted that video on Twitter about what's in her briefcase. One of the coolest things I've ever seen. I absolutely love her and I love this era for her. What was it? Her 5th Money in the Bank or something? And she won. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Seth Rollins winning, I think, had to happen as well. I think if you're going to build up that faction of his, you had to start putting the briefcase on. You have to start getting some titles on it, because you can't walk around saying you're the best without having any hardware on, right? So I think that was the right move. And absolutely incredible. The return of R-Truth at, Money in the Bank. It's just, it's such a good time right now. We got SummerSlam coming up. Listen, I hope SummerSlam is booked as well as I want it to, because it's in my damn backyard, okay? You can't put that shit at MetLife and make it a bad show, because I'm going to be hyped up to see it, because we're New Jersey people, okay? We want it to be a good show. We got a lot coming up in New Jersey, New York. We got Slamversary in New York. So, all like the Texas shows are coming up, StarCast for AEW, Evolution. We got a lot of things I'm keeping my eye on, a lot of stuff I'm excited to see. And I just think it's a great time right now. I'm not going to come on and bury anything, because honestly, there's nothing for me to bury. I'm excited. There's too much positive stuff for me to come out here and bury anything. And like I said, I had the privilege of working with TNA. I hope you watched it. The more we can do shows like this, the more opportunities I get, which is incredible as well. But yeah, let's see what happens. I'm excited for the future. And I think this is a good time, guys. I think we need to keep things positive. There's a lot going on in the world that isn't positive. And if we could get that escape with pro wrestling, why the hell not? You know what I'm saying? I have a lot coming up for Gabby AF very shortly, especially with SummerSlam being in New Jersey, keep an eye out for possibly some live shows, possibly, we might have to party up with Gabby AF before SummerSlam, guys. Keep an eye out for everything. As always, follow, subscribe, like, share this with everybody. The bigger the channel gets, the bigger we can do these fun things for Gabby AF. And keep safe. Happy Father's Day this weekend to anyone who celebrates. And yeah, keep watching, having a great time. I love you guys. Let's have some fun. Pro wrestling is awesome. And I love you all. Thank you so much. Until next week, we're going to have some good guests coming up. So keep an eye out. LYMNB, love you guys most. No backs.